This week marks a year since the very first lockdown began in this country, and all week we're going to be looking at various areas of our lives and see how they've coped after a year of pandemic. This morning I'm going to be chatting to two people. After 9 o'clock I'm going to be speaking to the Harrogate wedding DJ whose work dried up overnight, just instantly stopped. Now we're going to hear from a charity. How has the charity sector coped with little fundraising and sometimes increased demand for their services? Well, Marie Peacock is the Chief Executive Officer of Yorkshire's Brain Tumour Charity and is with us this morning. Marie, thanks for being with us this morning. Just explain what the charity does, first of all, and how you help people with brain tumour.
Good morning, Adam. Yes, I'm happy to tell you that. So we support people across Yorkshire, all areas of Yorkshire, so big area, with a diagnosis. So it can be a patient who's had a diagnosis of a brain tumour, both low and high grade. And we also support their families and loved ones and their children as well. So we're there for all the family. We provide financial support, so patient grants for people who are struggling financially as a result of the diagnosis. And also we provide emotional support. So we have a telephone support clinic, we have a support line, we provide counselling, support groups, and access to benefit support as well. So we're a bit of an all-round charity just to be there for people.
What's happened to those people then who normally use your services during the pandemic?
It's been absolutely horrific for people, as you can imagine. So for many people, they've been receiving, right at the start, we're receiving diagnoses over the phone, so not even able to get the devastating news in person. People, obviously, in lockdown have been at home alone, trying to deal with those horrible telephone calls. People have had their treatment cancelled or postponed. Which obviously has got a massive knock-on effect on how they deal with that and ultimately the outcome of their illness as well. And a big impact for people has been when people have died. So they haven't been able to grieve and mourn in the same way because of the impact on how they can hold funerals. And if you can imagine, we had one lady who was caring for her husband at home for about 6 months, and he died in the lockdown. And she wasn't able to get any support, really, from anybody. It was when we didn't have the support bubbles, and she was just home alone, completely bereft, and no one there to care for her. Her whole routine gone, her world gone, the impact psychologically is just absolutely horrific.
It seems what you say there about the impact and the story you mentioned there about the lady on her own. It's hard to imagine what that must be like. Not only if you are on your own after you've lost your husband or your wife, but the family as well.
Yeah, it's just absolutely horrendous for them. And, not being able to be there for people, not being able to go and give somebody a hug and sit and have a cup of tea, and all the normal things you would do in those situations to be there for somebody, that's all just gone. We're seeing a massive increase in isolation and the psychological impact on that prolonged period of isolation and loneliness. Our support line calls have increased by 167%, which is just, because people are trying to reach out to get some connection.
That's an astonishing figure, isn't it?
It is, yeah, absolutely.
And the flip side to all this, Marie, dare I ask you about funds? Because we know what it's like for charitable organisations. You rely on the good nature of people year in, year out. And, you only have to look at what happened last night with Red Nose Day to see the astonishing amount of money raised. It seems that this country is incredibly generous when it comes to this sort of thing. But to do what you do, and you've explained it really, really well about the work that you do, the really important work that your charity does, it needs funding to do it. So how has it been financially for you?
It's been extremely difficult. As you can imagine, all the events and community fundraising that normally goes on just stopped. But not only that, people's ability to give has been reduced. So people want to help. Obviously, we are a generous nation. But people being on furlough and having reduced income, or people being made redundant, it all impacts on people's ability to be able to give or the amount they can give. So that's been really difficult. And last year we had a 60% decline in the income that we were expecting to get in. So we still did really well, which is good, but we had to look at other ways of getting that money through trusts and things like that, which has been a very new challenge for us, and it's not sustainable long term.
You've talked about the impact on the individual. You've talked about the impact on the family. What about the impact on you and your team?
I have to say it's just been horrible for the team. They've loved the fact that they could be there for people, and obviously that's what we do. That's why we do what we do. But it has been really hard. Hard for them to come to terms with what's going on. Hard for them to be able to deal with the horrible situations they're facing. It's been quite distressing sometimes, and that's obviously had an impact on the team. I think it's made us stronger as a team, though, as well. I think there's some positives. We're quite lucky because we're quite adaptable and we're quite a flexible team, and they've all pulled together. People have been doing things that are not their usual job. We've all had to really work hard together, and it's made us stronger, and it's helped us to see how we can meet needs and change quite quickly. So that's a positive.
Marie, anybody listening who wants to support you, how can they do it?
They can go to our website, which is yorksbtc.org.uk, or they can call us on 0113 340 011.
Marie, good to talk to you this morning. Thanks very much indeed for your time. That's Marie Peacock, who is the Chief Executive Officer at Yorkshire's Brain Tumour Charity. If you can help, and she's explained it really well, hasn't she? Just how tough that year has been for the people they look after, and indeed for herself and for her team. If you can support, then just go to their website. It's yorksbtc.org.uk.